Otaku Octagon, welcome back. This is part two of our fall 2024 anime that are coming out next season. This is going to be our returner episode. We have about 10, so two less than we did before. And this is going to be a little quicker because most of y'all should know these
Hmm.
shows. I mean, we've already watched them, but these are the ones we are really excited about that are coming back next season. And I can't wait. It's here, baby. I might be watching the returners faster than I watch the new shows, to be
I mean,
honest,
that's usually
especially
how it works for me.
a few of these. You know what I'm saying? So the first one we got on the docket is as a reincarnated, as a reincarnated I'm fucking this up. As a reincarnated aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world season two.
Mm.
Again, it's another aristocrat anime. We've seen thousands of aristocrat animes, but this is about a young man who was reincarnated into a world as an aristocrat. He has an appraisal skill. As we know, appraisal skills are very broken in these isekai worlds. His father ends up dying in this world, and he ends up becoming the king of this land.
Mm.
And so he's pretty much just trying to make his kingdom better. He's trying to protect the kingdom. He's trying to make his kingdom better. I have not personally watched this one. I've seen clips of it. I've seen things of it. I'm a little tired of the aristocrat appraisal skill trope. It's not something that I'm fancy on. If we have a lull in the anime season, this is something I'll usually go to and like binge an entire season of. But
Yeah.
as of right now, there's other things that are returners that I'm definitely looking forward to a lot more. So.
Yeah. No, I watched the first season on this. This actually just came out. I would say
Mm-hmm.
last season, not this current season, but the season
Yeah.
prior to that one. Of course, he was isekai into the world. He has an appraisal skill. What I found very interesting about this one is because it's not this show doesn't highlight him. Obviously, he's the prince. At the beginning of the show,
Yeah.
he's the prince. He has his OP appraisal skill, but it highlights the people that he chooses to surround himself with.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the show, he's probably like 6, 8 years old, and he's finding these immaculate people. This witch, as you can see, she's in the background. She's hella strong, and in a kingdom where magic hasn't always been their forte, he was able to find this little poor girl who had the capability to be the most powerful mage in history, and also finding.
Yeah.
I think I talked to you before. He had found this a little black boy essentially, and everyone else like, oh, you shouldn't even be in our country. He decided to
You
give him a
dirty.
chance.
Oh, sorry.
They basically, but he decided to give him a chance, even when his father was like,
Yeah.
"Good, you're gonna bring him into our palace." He said, "No, father, I trust me, trust me."
Yeah.
Because at first he was like keeping it hidden, but
Yeah.
it transitions to now from a peaceful time. He's just finding useful people to moving to. We're now in a war with other countries, and because his land is like a part of a greater kingdom, they're now being called by the king of that kingdom to fight in
Yeah.
these wars. Well, his father ends up dying. He has to take that mantle. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said before, when this ended last season, that I'm pretty sure the next season is going to be him now working directly for the king, bringing in those amazing people
Yeah.
to fight the war, to win the war for the kingdom. I love any anime that can be good and doesn't need action to be good,
Yeah.
and this definitely is one of them.
Again, it's something I may check out if I we have a lull, if we have a little lull in anime. It's something this would be the type of shit I would watch if I was like on vacation. I didn't really like I didn't want to like spend the time to like focus on a new show and
Mm,
something I just want to like put on in the hotel really fast to just like watch while people sleeping or getting ready. But we'll see. The next one we got is Spirit Chronicle season two. So Spirit Chronicle is essentially about a young boy who is reincarnated, but not necessarily. It's like a isekai slash reincarnation kind of deal.
mm,
He ends up waking up as a boy in the slums, poor, in the hood essentially, as his own individual. Over a little bit of period of time, he started realizing that he has memories of another life. He has memories of his former life of a high school student who was hit in a traffic accident, ended up dying, and reincarnates into this world. He is actually reincarnated as a dragon emperor. Is that, am I right? Yeah, something like that, like a dragon king, dragon emperor, something like that. That's who was reincarnated, but I'm assuming some goddess made some mistake and put his spirit inside that same body. So it's two people, two personalities, kind of fighting over the same the same essence. And his old self starts clashing with his new self, and ends up finding out that he has very strong magical abilities. He's extremely talented, and he ends up going kind of to this like knighthood, knight academy, scenario. Season two does have new visuals, so it's done a little bit differently than the old one was. Season Spirit Chronicles, the first season was done quite a while ago, so they've updated the animation for season two. This is something I am looking forward to. I'm gonna start from season one. You just kind of have to get that little aspect. If you want to watch it, you can actually watch all 12 episodes on YouTube. It's about 4 hours long. You just slap that shit on your phone
Shameless
or on
plug.
your TV. Shameless plug. YouTube sponsor us, and and you can watch all 12 episodes. That's something I'll probably be doing. Well, maybe not tonight because I need to catch up because we're gonna do our end season tier list here pretty soon.
Mm.
So I need to catch up on this new stuff. But in the meantime, check out Spirit Chronicles season two when it comes out.
I did
So
like this show. It was funny. It was like playful funny. It wasn't like
yeah,
absorbently buckling over laughter laughing funny, but it was
yeah,
a cute show, and where it did touch on one of those tropes I'm not a fan of, where someone was isekai, he was either an adult or close to an adult, and then he's in this new world where he's a kid again, and he ends up in a relationship with another kid. I'm like, you do know you're like 20 something years old, right? I mean, now you're with an 8-year-old girl. But in this show, they actually kind of did it well, in which, like you already said, he started getting memories of a past life. So this is
uh,
a new person, but he does have the mind of that
uh,
past life. So
yeah.
in his defense, he is still technically a kid, so he can get in a relationship with other
Japan could
children.
get away with murder. I swear to
These
God.
niggas could get away with it. But he's so OP in this world. Like, kingdoms start to recognize actual kings want them to
Yeah.
marry their daughters. Like, I love this one
Hmm.
because it was just a cute show about a kid becoming more and more OP. He wasn't like some 40-year-old neat in the past where he was a kid.
Yeah.
He was like a 17-year-old kid, and now he's starting to get that recognition. He's learning about magic for the first time. His old world didn't have magic, so he gets to learn about
Yeah.
this new world and still be
Yeah.
the Dragon Lord Emperor, or having that level of ability. So definitely a good watch. I definitely suggest, if you do like isekais like you do and like this
Yeah.
type of story, check it out.
Yeah.
Whether it's a quick
Absolutely.
watch or over time.
Yeah. Yeah. Next one we got pretty good show. I had to start this show many times to at least finish the first
I'm happy
season.
you said it, cause
Not saying not saying it's a bad show.
uh huh.
It's just something I haven't gotten into. But it's ReZero starting a life in another world season three. Just quick over ReZero. A lot of people already know what ReZero is, but it's about a young man who ends up finding himself in another world. He is isekai'd into it, and he doesn't necessarily have any powers. But what he does have is every time he dies, he ends up getting he ends up resetting the day and resetting the day and resetting the day. And we come to find out, essentially, spoilers, it's season three already. We come to find out that he is essentially resetting the day, but when he accomplishes something, he moves forward and then he keeps moving forward and he's essentially creating this waterfall effect where he is gonna every time he succeeds, he's been a hero since before that. So nobody really knows he's a failure except for him. Really,
Mm.
he's the only one that really knows he's failing or dying. Nobody else knows that. So it is a pretty. It is. I think it's funny. It's extreme. It's a funny show.
Mm.
Um, and it's. I usually don't like this trope. The trope where he doesn't really have any powers. He's actually not that strong, but the way they move about the plot with him dying and kind of learning to adapt and like learning how to counteract these certain things with his dying ability or his reincarnation ability, I do like this show. So it's a good one, and
I fuck with
I'm gonna catch up on it.
that. This show is so weird. If you have never watched this show and someone read you the synopsis, and you actually watch the show, you would probably backslap them, because there's no way what you described to me is what I just
Yeah,
watched. This
yeah,
show is a psychological thriller. Like, yes, everything resets every time
yeah,
he dies. Cool, good to go. This man dies in the most gruesome, diabolical ways,
yeah,
and it's hilarious. I mean,
yeah.
maybe I'm fucked up. Maybe I have a fucked up mind. Watching him
No,
be eaten by 1,000
no,
man-eating rabbits, like,
yeah. He gets fucked up.
it was amazing. Like, it has amazing art. It has a great story. Subaru, the main character, he
Yeah,
has like in the beginning he has like a fucked up personality, so you do get to see his actual character growth where he's
Hmm.
becoming from a shitty person who only cares about himself to becoming the main character. And I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
we joked about it before where in this world everyone thinks he's the most badass guy
hmm,
because they only see the success, like you say. They only see when he actually succeeds in his mission. They don't see the million times. And I'm not being facetious. This guy's
yeah,
probably died a million times. They don't see all the times he's failed. All the times he cried like a bitch. He ran
yeah,
away screaming and hollering, and someone had to kill him because he failed to do his mission. They only see when Subaru finally was able to go accomplish his mission, save everybody. So I love
yeah,
being the audience watching this show because you get
yeah.
it's like you know the secret
You get both
everyone else
sides.
doesn't
Yeah,
know. It's like, and they explain it in the
yeah,
show. He's unable to tell them. Like whenever he tries to tell them, like, "Hey, this is my power.
yeah,
This is what's going on," he nearly dies. So they
yeah. It's
explain
like
that
a heart
part.
attack.
So for us, we know this secret that
Yeah,
everyone else doesn't know. We know how much of a piece of shit he was and kind of still is,
yeah.
but we also get to see that he's actually
It's like
trying to be better.
you're like shut the fuck
This
up.
is really good. This is like
Yeah,
I'm probably not giving it the justice that it deserves. This is a
yeah,
really good show. If you like psychological thrillers, if you just don't need to see people throwing hands all the time, and don't get me wrong, they
yeah.
throw hands in the show. But
Oh
if you
yeah,
don't need to see that all the time, you really want to see a great show with great action. This is a show you need to hop on, even 3 seasons later.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, so the next one we have is top. It's top three
I
isekais for
know you
me.
love this one.
Top three isekais for me. So it's Arifureta from Commonplace to World's Strongest season three. This show is a banger, will always be a banger, and
Mm-hmm.
will continue to be a banger. This show, and this was the show that started the ban. To me, honestly, this is the banishment trope. Like
Mm.
this is the show that started that. I haven't seen ever since Arifureta dropped day one. All the other isekais or banishment tropes have been after Arifureta. So this is the one that started the banishment trope. This is essentially quick synopsis about season one. His whole entire class was transported to another world to fight off the hordes of demons that were there. He was not strong. He was weak. He didn't get a good power. They didn't banish him immediately like you see some of these other tropes doing, where they just banish him immediately. They let him fight in the rear guard and let him, like, pick up trash and carry bags and shit like that.
Mm.
Well, he ends up getting sabotaged by somebody in his party to kill him because they think they're slowing him down. Well, young man ends up falling into the dungeon that they're in, and in order for him to survive, he has to eat monsters to survive because he needs to eat. Like you die without eating food. So he eats monsters, drinks blood, drinks the water from the cave, and he starts like at first he gets really sick, but then his body adapts to it, and he grows the white hair. He like ends up learning that he can create tools from his old world into this new world. He brings guns, machines, tanks, up armored Humvees. Like he has this gun that I want to get replicated somewhere somehow, and I don't know where I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna fucking do it one day. But he gets a gun that can shoot pretty much any kind of bullet that he wanted to shoot because he can create literally fucking anything and becomes super strong. This is also a show that receives a lot of criticism because it has a lolicon trope in it where
Mm.
he is in love. They are both in love. They have a relationship, and it is clear, set in stone with a 4,000-year-old vampire that looks like an 8-year-old. And he's like what, I'd say 15, 16 ish,
Yeah, about
like
16 years old.
yeah, like junior maybe in high school, and she's like 8 years old. So, but she's a 4,000-year-old vampire, and they're like in love, and so on and so forth. But this is one of the biggest shows that receives a lot of that criticism. Don't let that turn you off. This show is a banger.
Mm.
And after they ended season two with him fighting the angel or like the goddess or whatever, like they needed. I've been waiting for season three. It's been so long since they've come out with this, and I can't wait. I can't wait. It's gonna be amazing.
Shows like no, I'm not even gonna say shows like this. Our Fuerta walked so that shows like Failure Frame can run. It's literally
Absolutely,
that same
absolutely,
trope. And I would say
absolutely.
this and other shows like in Another World with My smartphone. I would say
Mhm.
and Sword Art Online. They're like the the titans of creating the tropes that we now watch
Yep.
today. A lot of the tropes
Yep.
you've seen in these shows, you're
The
going to
big
see
three
in
of
what
tropes.
we're going to see those tropes and what we currently watch today.
Yeah.
And a lot of the tropes me and you really love, and that's why
Yeah.
we watch a lot of the series
Oh
that
yeah.
are just like this. Again, Failure Frame is
Yeah.
literally just like this show, and I love it. I don't care if
Yeah.
it's pretty much the same show in the first two episodes. I'm still going to watch all the way to episode 12, 25, no matter how many episodes
Hmm.
they put out. Arifureta was one of my earlier shows when I started like really getting into watching different anime. Um,
Same. Same. Same.
when it came to like isekai, I would probably say this is probably one of my first five within my first five isekais of watching.
Same.
So
Actually, same. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is it, and this is like solidifying that I love isekais. I love seeing somebody
Yeah.
from a completely different world, and I love the whole he was part of a classroom, and that whole classroom got transported over. They've done it millions of
Yeah.
times. I like
Well, they
it,
did it
and I
millions of
keep
times
on doing it.
after Arifureta.
Well, yeah. Now, since then, they've done it millions of
Yeah.
times, and I like everything about it.
Yeah.
And I want to see what happens next. The story just keeps on going and going.
Yeah.
I collected all the light novels, both the
have-
regular light novels as well as the like the spin-off version of it, because I loved
Yeah.
it that much. So ever since, like you said, the end of season 2, I've been looking forward to season 3.
I think I told you this already. When me and my wife were still dating, like we were boyfriend girlfriend, weren't married or anything, and this is when I was kind of watching a little bit more anime with her. When I first started getting into isekais, like 6 years ago at this point, um, I was starting to watch Arifureta, and this was one of the most surprising shows, like, because me personally, even back then, before I knew as much as I know now, I still thought I knew more about anime than most of the people around me, at least at that time. Arifureta was my foot into the door of isekais, adventure style, dungeons, stuff like that, which we're going to get into the one that really got me into
Now,
dungeon animes here
speaking
next.
of,
But yeah, speaking of, but when I was watching Arifureta, we weren't even at a part where she said something. We were sitting down. She sat down next to me, and she was like, "I've seen this before." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And she was like, "Yeah, I've seen this before." And I was like, "What do you?" I was like, "No, you haven't." And well, it was more so because I also didn't know her brother liked anime a lot, but they used to watch it together a lot. And she was like, "Yeah, this is the one." This was like after he had already ate the monsters and shit like that. I think I was like halfway through the season, and she was like, "Yeah, this is the one where he like is in the dungeon and he like eats the monsters and gets like really strong and shit, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Yeah, I fuck with this. This is like one of my first animes I ever watched."
so
I'm
how
like,
many minutes after this did you propose? Was it like immediate, a few days later? What we
"No, I
talking?
kind of
Ah,
it was more, yeah,
propose.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. I put the it was on the
Propose, I proposed to
yeah.
baby.
Yeah, we
Made a
yeah,
proposition.
the circle went on the yeah. Anyways, but yeah. So this is what I know she's gonna be excited about this one coming back because we watched the second season together. We watched the first season together. I mean,
Samesies.
so we're gonna watch this third season, and the fucked up part about this, and especially with the next one that's coming out or the next one we're gonna talk about, it's I'm always on the teetering fence of should I let it just drop completely and just wait until it like because I want to binge it. I want to binge it just to enjoy it, or should I just watch it every week that it comes out and just be like, oh, I can't wait for the next one. You know what I'm saying?
I'll do it.
Like,
I don't care. And you know me, I usually wait a
I
few.
know.
I can't wait for that.
I know.
As soon
That's
as
what I'm
Is It Wrong
saying.
drops, I'm watching episode 1. I'm watching episode 2. I'm not waiting 3-4
Yeah.
weeks. Sorry.
True. All right. Speaking of the next one, my most anticipated one for me personally coming out in this season, and it was a toss up between this and Arifureta, to be honest. And we can talk about Bleach here in a minute, but like for me, something just waiting for it to come back is going to be Izarung to pick up a girl in a dungeon. This is still season 5, but this is the Goddess of Fertility arc.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Goddess of Fertility.
That's very funny
This-
because I would say my two was this, of course. I love Is It Wrong.
Yeah.
But ReZero. ReZero and this,
that's
it's
fair.
hard to decide which one I'm looking
That's
for
fair.
most.
So, if you don't know a lot about Danmachi is essentially a show about a young man who is part of the Hestia family. This is where their skills come from God. So, gods and goddesses are real in this world. The gods and goddesses are heads of these adventuring families. Think of them as like clans. Each one of them is the family is a party. That party goes into a dungeon, captures dungeons, gets gold medal, whatever, brings it back. The family gets richer, goddess gets stronger, blah blah blah. The goddess also imbues skills onto your back. It's like inscribed on their back. Well, in the beginning, season one, it's just him and goddess Hestia. They are the poorest. They are looked down upon, and this man, we end up finding out, has a very very strong skill where it's tied to his willpower, which is something that you should not ever put your nose down to in anime. If there's a power that's tied to our MC's will,
And
you know,
it's the most amazing power. It's the power
yeah,
of being a simp.
yeah, literally, what his goal is to fuck the main knight girl in the other family. And as long as he keeps her in his brain,
Mm-hmm.
he is the strongest out
That
of
simp
anybody
boost
ever.
is crazy.
And then, to fast forward a little bit, they end up getting, like, this is season 3. So they're already really powerful family again. They have a lot of people from other clans that he saved their lives join their family. They
Mm.
left their families to join their family. They have a big house now, so on and so forth. And we left our last season with them. They was fighting for their lives. They
Ooh, I
was
forgot about that. They got trapped in a
fighting.
dungeon and they were just
Yeah, him and the
fighting
elf.
every single
Every
episode.
it was like 360-degree combat every minute of every day. This was
Taking
I don't
sleep schedules and everything.
I think I explained this to you. This one, like, I don't know why, and usually these type of shows don't do it to me. I was actually a little emotional during this because I'm just like on the edge of my seat because they really emphasized how tired they were, how worn out they were, how beat up they were, how exhausted they were, just how much they were suffering, like true pain, like true suffering. And I was really like, when I was watching this, I was like, damn, like I feel really bad for them, like really, really bad, because we've never really seen our main character like that in predicaments like that. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? We've never really seen that. We've seen main character like ReZero. We see him die, get fucked up, come back, but we like this was true suffering, and it went on and on and on and on, whilst their party or their family plus another family is trying to rescue them, and they have
And they're
no
getting it
idea.
too. They
And
fought the
they're yeah, they're getting
everybody
their
was
shit
fighting.
they're getting their shit pushed in as well, and they have no idea where they're at. So, and we got a little bit of a peak of a love interest between our main character and the elf, and I kind of like that. I kind of
He
like
got
that.
like 3 or 4 love interests.
I know, but I mean, they went through it together.
They deserve
So
it.
that's where it ended up leaving off. They have some trauma, and I mean, I think it shows it clearly on the cover art here. This man is struggling. He's hurting right now. He's traumatized because it was pure nothing, utter combat. It was absolutely horrible. So
Yeah.
I am so excited about this coming back. This is top. This is number one for me coming back coming
Nah,
back
I
next season.
fuck with that. And it may be number one for me. It's so hard. It's been amazing. Every
Every
second of it,
season,
every episode, every season. I can't
no
think of
complaints.
a bad season. And
Nope.
the last season, part one, part two, it was just. The, if it gets higher than that, I need to
Yeah,
be there. I don't care if there's no oxygen up there. I need to
yeah.
reach
I
that
need
peak because
yes.
that was peak for me.
Let's peak
It's so
anime, to be
funny
honest.
because these three, like, next season's gonna be a banger. Like, I just realized how much of a banger it is because these three, ReZero, Arifureta, and Is It Wrong? When I started collecting like light novels, these are the first I went within the first 5 novels I collected all 3 of
Yeah,
those, and all 3 are coming out in the same season. A content
yeah.
is going to be flowing.
We might need to do a tier list of returners. They're just all gonna be
We
in the
might
S,
have
but
to. We might have to. Like, what part of S? High S, low
yeah,
S? Like,
yeah.
bro, it's gonna be.
S plus 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 or S minus minus minus.
I'm not ready, bro.
Yeah,
No sleep.
it's
No
hot.
sleep.
Yeah, it's already hot in this room, and I'm sweating already. All right, next one we got is honestly, I'm surprised this is coming back this
Mm.
quick. And this is Shangri-La Frontier season 2,
Mm.
and Shangri-La Frontier was also a banger. Shangri-La Frontier was also just a
It
pure
does
and
Sword
utter
Art
banger.
Online.
Yeah, literally, and I mean, it had the trope,
I,
but it
I,
wasn't
it doesn't do it.
exactly
I'm
there.
saying it did it well. Like,
Yeah,
it
it did it
does
well.
it justice. Like, as a
Yeah,
video game anime, I can
yeah,
happily say this is as good as, if not better
yeah,
than.
yeah. And I mean, we just recently talked about it, but a quick overview. This is a video game style anime where our main character is a video game player, a VR MMORPG
Mm.
character who plays trash games for a living. He can exploit hacks, exploit bugs in the system, so on and so forth. But somebody finally talks him into playing a god tier game, which is Shangri-La Frontier, and he gets into this game and ends up being, and this is what I really love about this. Yes, he's strong, but he's not that strong.
Mm.
And he's actually working to level up his character, level up his equipment, level up his swords. We see him with his back against the wall and actually figuring it out in a video game mindset how to get past these bosses, these levels. And that's all it is him just in the game, just fighting and fucking shit up and going on quests, side quests, like, and it's nonstop action and it's fucking hilarious. I mean, you see him; he has a chicken head on. And where we left off last season is he beat one of the elder bosses.
Yeah, one of the game bosses.
Yeah, well, like yeah, there's like seven, there's like five or six like elder bosses or like elder monsters. I'm not trying to say Elden Ring, but these monsters that aren't supposed to be beaten yet. And something they need to get into, and I hope they get into it in this season, is as he's beating as he's beating these monsters and doing the things that other people aren't supposed to be doing, there's people in the outside world that don't like that.
Mm.
They're not like they showed a little clip of it, but I want to see kind of like how this is going to transition to the real world with
Yeah.
him being who he is. So, but I'm looking forward to this one. I love the video game style animes. I mean, what was it? Dark World, the Netflix one. I forgot.
Oh,
Dark.
Bye Bye World, Goodbye World.
No. Yeah, something like yeah. Goodbye World. I
Yeah,
think I
something
think
like
that's what
that.
it's called. Yeah.
Hmm.
I love these video game style animes. There hasn't really been any bad ones, so I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like a big video game anime fan. Like I like video games. I'm really trying to get more into my MMO video games. I just need a little bit more money. But this one, it definitely was good. I like Sword Art Online. I only got into it because you kept on telling me watch it, and then I saw a clip and I said, "Yep, need to watch it." But as a video game anime and someone who's not really into them, this is probably my number one. Maybe
Absolutely.
number one for you, maybe number two. Definitely my number one. It's
Um,
so interesting.
the the problem is as a video game anime, Sword Art Online would still be my favorite, but specific seasons,
Hmm.
Shangri-La is better than specific Sword Art
Yeah, I
seasons
respect it because more
because
seasons you
then
have,
we
more
get
chances you can fuck up.
yeah, and then we get into like Alicization and
Mm.
Alicization Underworld, and then you're just like that's peak video
Full
game
product.
anime
I
right
mean,
there.
and you also got full product. Like it's
Yeah,
beginning
yeah.
and you know everything. But I feel like talking of other shows being these great shows that led the way for other shows, I feel like this has potential to do that. I can see this one hitting a season 3, season 4, and other video game animes coming out trying to replicate this greatness. It's
Yeah,
that level of good, and I'm definitely looking forward
yeah,
to season 2.
yeah, same. All right, this banger we've been waiting for, Bleach Thousand Year Blood War, the conflict arc. I mean, we talked about it in our news in our previous videos that y'all will see, but we got a teaser already for Ichibe's domain expansion. We he's gonna be popping out his Bankai on Yawak when they've been like because they're right now how it ended they were in their battle
Mm.
at the end of the last core. So this next core is going to be their big fight, and I'm assuming so the way I know it's happening right now, there's probably gonna be like one more core after this,
I was just gonna
maybe, or
ask you that.
one more part. The way I see it, they may be able to split it into two, but I think it's gonna be the conflict and then like the wrap up,
The
like
resolution.
the resolution, type shit. So, but if you know anything about Bleach, Bleach been out for I don't know, same as long as One Piece been out. So
Yeah.
it just stopped for 12 years and decided to come back with an absolute banger, new animation, new everything. I mean, we've talked about Bleach a million times, but so I'm gonna wrap it up there. But Core 3 for the conflict is coming out, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
Thousand Year
amazing.
Blood War. It's really great, and I can honestly admit that prior to Thousand Year Blood War, while I gave Bleach his respect and I gave Ichigo his respect as part of the big three, I wasn't a fan of Bleach. Like I
Yeah,
watched a good majority, I'll say three quarters of the original, but when this
yeah,
came out, and I was able to relive those characters that I do love and see how they've grown, it relit the flame of my love for Bleach. Because I loved it when it first came out. When I first started watching the season one, seeing Ichigo finally get his
Hmm.
Bankai, like I love those things. But it kind of died out for me.
Yeah,
If you loved it and you want to love it again, watch Thousand Year Blood War.
absolutely. Speaking of Sword Art Online, we have Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online 2. Now, this isn't to be confused with the part of Season 2 where Kirito went into Gun Gale. It's not a continuation of that because that was already wrapped up. This is a story about a young girl who plays Gun Gale Online. Yes, Kirito went into Gun Gale in the main seasons of Sword Art Online, but this is about a young girl who goes into Gun Gale, and her goal is to be like just the best player. She wants to, obviously, just like any of us who play a video game, or play like Call of Duty or anything like that. We want to be the best player. And I'm really looking forward to this because I really enjoyed Gun Gale Part One. Gun Gale Part One, it was literally just about her trying to be the best, and you pretty much are watching VR Call of Duty lobbies. Like, they go into this world. Think about Ready Player One. They go into this world. They go into the big hub where people can sign up for matches, sign up for multiplayer essentially,
Hmm.
and they wait for their match to start. Then they get transported to a giant open landscape. Could be the desert, could be a town, could be a city, could be anywhere, and they battle it out just like Call of Duty. And it's more of a last one standing style. So it's not like you get hit and then you respawn and then you get hit and then it's whoever has the most points. It's
Hmm.
it's like last man standing wins.
Yes, indeed.
And she runs around with a P90. If you don't know what a P90 is, think of the gun with the hoops on the bottom, and it's a bullpup. You put the magazine in the back, and everybody makes fun of her because everybody's running like snipers, machine guns, like
Hmm.
running AR-15s. They're running like good guns, but she loves running around with this little submachine gun.
Hmm.
But she be fucking people up. She's fast, she's quick, she's smart. I wouldn't say she's OP. She's in the first season. She's had her back up against the wall plenty of times. Like, she had to get help from other people. And you can team up in some of these. There's like rules. There's different rules to different matches. The game master is the one that decides, like, if you team up, you can share the prize money, or if you don't team up, or if it's only solo, only solos can play. So I think the last season they showed a team. It was the last two standing, and they like rock paper scissors for who shot who to win. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's a good, if you're looking for a very like cool down to earth style video game MMORPG where we just see the little girl just running around fucking people up. I will say, so the only plot is her just trying to be the best at the video game. So there's really not a plot. So it's not like Kirito's where some people were dying, Death Gun, I think his name was,
Hmm.
where like people would get shot in Gun Gale and then they would die in real life. You know what I'm saying? There was no real plot like that. It was literally just her in Gun Gale just trying to be the best, trying to get the new outfits, the new skins. She's trying to get, it's like literally watching somebody play VR Call of Duty. That's you know what I'm saying? So there's no real plot to it, and that's about the only thing I would say negative about it. But if you're just trying to sit back and watch her run around and fuck people up, then and get made fun of. I think at this point they know who she is, though. She got bullets with their names on it. I'll tell you that. So
Oh, okay. All right. I haven't watched season one of this one. I feel like if you like Sword Art Online, if you liked season two, if you like the Gun Gale part of season two, you'll definitely like this. You want to see a continuation of this world. I'm
yeah,
pretty sure when you saw this, you're like, "Oh, Gun Gale, I like Sword Art Online. Let me check this out." And you're like, "Oh, I like this show." So definitely, if you like Call of Duty, if you play Call of Duty every night, and you also like
yeah.
anime, this is
If
definitely
you
for
like
you.
guns,
If you
if
like
you like
guns,
guns in
period.
anime, this is it. I mean,
Um,
this is
I didn't like Gun Gale. Season two was probably my least favorite of Sword Art Online. And it's probably not Gun Gale's fault. It was probably because of that
it was
weird
an
relationship
arc. Yeah,
that yeah. Anyway, it Gun Gale was a really weird and it was short too. It was like
yeah.
they
That's
didn't get
so
out, so
this Gun Gale alternative has more depth than the quick one that they did for
yeah.
season
And that's
two
and that's what
for
I'm
Sword
hoping
Art.
for.
Yeah, this has so much more depth to it. They actually go more into the video game world. There's like, the people who are like the top video game players in the world are doing interviews in the VR space, and she's
Mm.
trying to become like they do a lot more I would say world building, but game building in the Gun Gale server.
Okay.
So they show a lot more in the server than they do in that short little span of Kirito playing it with a fucking lightsaber. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well,
Which I
I might
thought was
check
a
it
little
out.
nice refresher, but
I
it
really
is.
might check it out. It's probably not on my to do list, but like you said, if
Yeah,
there's a lull, if I just
yeah.
if I'm like scrolling through, maybe it'll be on Netflix. Is this a
It
Netflix
is
show?
on net. It is on
So yeah, if
Netflix.
I'm
Yeah,
scrolling through Netflix, I just want something to binge really quick. I actually
yeah.
started Terminated Zero. Quick mention. I'm like 2 episodes in. So after that, if I need something else I want to binge as well, at one
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning,
I
then
think
this might be it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's like 6 episodes, maybe 8. I don't even think it's that long.
Then I'm probably
It's
more
but
likely
they
to watch it.
but they put a lot of in it. So don't think like, oh, there's only a couple episodes. It's not gonna be in depth. No, they definitely put some depth into it. It's just not a over. There's no overarching plot where like people are dying on the outside and we have to stop this person. Like they did that shit in Sword Art. So they're like, we're not gonna do that here. This is just a girl who plays video games. I mean, it is what it is.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Um, so the last two we got. The first one is going to be Blue Exorcist Beyond the Snow Saga. Um, I already said how. So Blue Exorcist season 3 came out. This is the next arc essentially in season 3. Um, I have not caught up on season 3, but I was turned off by Blue Exorcist because of season 2. And everybody already knows that I love our boy from Blue Exorcist. I have his sword. We bought his sword when we were in Florida that one time. Um, and the first season was great. This is about a young man him and his brother are sons of the devil, and they have demon powers. They're both trying to become exorcists, where they exorcise demons. He uses a sword, and his brother kind of uses a gun, but his brother doesn't have any powers really. His brother does have powers, he just represses them a lot. And he does use his powers. Whenever he unleashes his sword, he gets the devil horns, the blue horns, and then he gets his tail grows, and his sword has blue flames, and he's very, very strong. Season 2 really went away from the manga, like really went away from manga. And at that point, when season 1 was coming out and ended, I was really big into reading ahead, like reading the panels online, finding out what was happening next, because I was anticipating season 2. Because Blue Exorcist was one of my favorite shows. It was one of those shows that I'd put on in the background if I was like doing something, because I've already seen it. I'd throw Blue Exorcist on in the background. But season 2 really just threw me off, and I didn't like that. Like, and so maybe that's probably I have like a little, not trauma, but like I have a little like bitter taste in my mouth
Mm-hmm.
from season 2. Why I haven't really decided to move forward with season 3. And so since the Snow Saga is coming out, I do know a little bit about the Snow Saga. Not a lot to really put into terms and words for you guys or you in general. But I may try to hop back on season 3 and just kind of put my toe in the water, see what's going on with it, if it's doing well. Because we talked about when season 3 came out, I said I hope they don't fuck it up.
Mm-hmm.
And the first few, I think I watched the first few episodes of season 3. It didn't look too bad, but I was like, that's what they did in season 2, and it turned for the worse. So I was just like, I got so much other shit to watch. Like, I'll watch this later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I may go back to it. I may go back to it because the Snow Saga is coming out. It's good. I know the things that are supposed to happen in the Snow Saga. So hopefully they actually do that. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. The last one we have is Seven Deadly Sins: The Four Nights of the Apocalypse.
Mm.
I know that you don't. I know that you don't like Seven Deadly
Take it
Sins.
away.
I know you don't like Seven Deadly Sins.
Tell them about it.
I will say, that they. I liked the OG Seven Deadly Sins, like when they ended on what was that? Rise of the Emperor or something? I forgot what it was. I did like the OG Seven Deadly Sins. I have watched the newer Seven Deadly Sins. These are more so for newer style people, I
Yeah,
guess you call it.
new
So
generation.
like new generation. This is about their children. So this is about Meliodas' kids. This is about every other, like the main character's kids growing up. Think of this as the Boruto of Seven Deadly Sins.
Yeah, that's pretty much
Um,
how I saw it.
I'm not gonna say I didn't like it. It just wasn't my cup of tea.
Mm.
And I still do want to know what happens next. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's not. It's just not my cup of tea. It's just not. something. It's again, like you said, it's for the younger audiences. It's more colorful, it's more playful, it's more cartoony than the
Mm.
old Seven Deadly Sins was. Like Meliodas became the king, and this is again what I didn't like about Naruto and Boruto was we didn't get shit from it. He got his kingdom, but we knew that fights were happening. I mean, we saw the movie that came out with his son in it, and Meliodas showed up to save the day at the end, but then that's all we got seeing Meliodas like in power. Like we want to see our main characters that we love to watch grow up be in power. We want to see what they do. We don't
Mm.
want to see I don't want to see their kids. I don't want to see their grandkids. I don't want to see what their kids the shenanigans their kids are getting into. I want to see Meliodas as the king with the holy knights fighting these other wars that they are doing that they've talked about that they're doing in the show. Like you're showing me this kid who's sneaking around ruins and telling his friends that yeah, my dad's off fighting this war and blah blah blah. I want to see the fucking war. Like I want to see the war. I want to see what Meliodas and the Holy Knights are doing.
Mm.
I don't want to see this fucking kid, spray painting fucking ruins and hanging out with his friends, and then he runs into some like really strong, like demons, and then has to figure his way out of it. Like I don't want to see that. I really don't. But I don't know why they decide to do this shit. Just again, like Boruto. I don't know, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. And I know there's a lot of seven deadly sins stands out there. I've met a few of them. I know a few of them. So it's for you. It's for you. I'm gonna still cop it just to see like what happens because I like not I say like the storyline to like counteract what I just said. I do want to see what happens next after the last I guess season the last season happened. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So we'll see. I know you don't like it. I know you don't like it. You got
I
nothing to
mean,
say.
you're already watching it, and she likes it, so that's cool. I know people out there do enjoy it.
Yeah,
I know people buy it. I mean, it's in the
yeah.
$5 bin, Five Below for a reason. But hey, people out there like it, and I hope you enjoy the next chapter.
I'm gonna I'm gonna be honest with you. I loved OG Seven Deadly Sins. I loved it. I that was one of the first ones like that had multiple seasons that I binged like constantly, like throughout. I think
Mm.
I started watching this a few years ago when I was in the apartments. Like I watched it from episode one all the way up to when Judgment came out. So,
I'm pretty
but
sure I watched the first season, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then I started seeing more and more, and yeah, and I was like, yep, not my cup of tea.
yeah, I like Holy Knight stuff, like Holy Knights with
Yeah,
like magic and stuff. That's my joint. You
you're
know what
also
it
able to
is. So
compartmentalize things. So
very, very, very much so. All right, so that actually wraps it up for our part two for returners and new anime of 2024 fall season coming out. We really appreciate you guys for sticking around for part two. Remember, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, ring the notification bells down below so you don't miss out on our future videos. We are finally wrapping up summer of 2024.
hmm
We're coming to a close. We're coming
we
to a
got it right the
close
first time. I love to see
and
it.
we yeah and we will see where these fall on our tier list here next week,
Maybe two
maybe
weeks. Maybe two
maybe two
weeks.
weeks maybe 2 weeks
Yeah,
maybe 2 weeks. We'll see.
we
We'll see
gotta let
because
them finish.
again, yeah, again, there's we talked about this. There's a couple of them are behind. Like
Hmm.
they started a couple weeks late. So well, I mean, I say late like I'm in charge of the scheduling, but they started when they were
Hey,
supposed
they
to, I
got a
guess.
time they need to start and a
But
time they need to finish. Like I
yeah, you
agree.
know what I'm saying. So, but we'll see what happens on that wrap up. We really appreciate you guys for being here. We thank you. Remember, subscribe. Road to 1,000. Peace out.